Are you listening?
It's Wednesday.
Good morning.
Good
yeah,
morning.
my coffee this morning.
Feel that coffee. Let that coffee embrace you. Take that coffee. Let it engulf your spirit.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yes, thinking of that. How are you doing today, Billy?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty good stream.
Pretty good stream early in the morning. Wrecking it with Chimmel, the Artifact, Discover 5.
Oh, yeah. My favorite artifact that they've made so far.
Oh, then you haven't played with a lot of artifacts.
I've played with a bunch, but Shamil's my favorite.
That's a good one. It could have been an enchantment the way it works. It's an artifact.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Today is a good day. It is Wednesday. Yo.
Hump day.
Hump day. And, you know, kind of excited because I picked the card of the day that I think you'll like. And I'll have you read it because,
all right, cool.
Well, it's fun. It's simple.
Card of the day.
All right. Ooh, Spellbook.
Yeah.
I almost said Spellbrook. Spellbook for 0. Artifact. You have no maximum hand size. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, this card used to be like the all-star card to go to in Commander. You take this card and you put it in your deck just so when people like force you to draw cards, or there's people who try to mill you through drawing cards, or there are too many Howling Minds on the table, people wouldn't have a spell book. They'd lose lose a lot of cards because they're discarding each turn because reanimation wasn't so thick back then. So they decided to make this an all-star back in the new days of Commander. Oh, this card is saucy. Oh. Yeah, Investable Collectibles is a really fun card. Yeah, it is.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, when you're paying 0 mana to have no max mana side, it's pretty solid.
Yep.
Since I run it in all my draw decks. That's right. It's getting Grip Hug too.
Yeah, I got a card like that in my black Necron deck.
Yeah, Necrons. Yeah, you got the Mana Tapper one, I believe. It costs like 2 mana, taps for a colorless. It also gives you the max mana size. It's called like Thought Vessel, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
It's an artifact.
Good card. It really works. It's functional. 0 mana. And it does have an asking price of like $5. I believe. Let me check the price. Boom. Let's go to Card Kingdom. CardKingdom.com. Let's get to. Don't give me that ad.
What set is this from?
It's a core set.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like $2 card, $2 card. Still good.
Nice.
And that's M10. So there's 10th edition, right? 10th edition is just an X. That's a core set. Then there's M10 for Magic 10. That's another core set.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why you're seeing that. So you're asking like $2 for this card, which is pretty solid. It's still played like crazy.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I'd take this card and swap it out with another card that does the same thing. That costs a little bit. What gets me on this card is the mana cost.
I know it's a good mana cost.
Yep.
Wish all my spells cost that much.
Really?
I'm kidding, because if all my spells cost that much, everybody else's spells would cost that much.
Let me play this 11-11 for 0 mana.
Yep. James Willis, hello. But yeah, then to the picture of the day. Yeah, I found this. I'm like, yes. It's very fitting since you actually got coffee with you today.
Yeah, I sure do.
Oh, no. And we have a surprising visitor who surprised us. Yeah, that first sip of coffee in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Boo.
What's up?
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Stasis Orb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I got robbed in an arena a while ago.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, dude, there's no way. I guess, because I know that they've had problems like that in the past where, you would earn cards in the battle pass and then they wouldn't give it to you till the next season began. And then they'd be like, oh, sorry, we realized, we noticed that you missed all your cards. Here's a package of all the cards you
See, I got all the cards, so it should have went to my vault.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Should have gone to the vault.
Yep.
Why don't you explain what the vault is for the arena players or people who don't know arena?
There's a percentage, like let's say you get a play set of all the cards in the set. Like for example, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Say you get 4 cards of each card in that set, where you cannot get any more cards of Ixalan. So when you do that, there's a vault. They call a vault on Arena, and it goes by percentages. And when you get that percentage up to 100%, you get your little treasure chest on your game there. It'll pop up, and it will contain wild cards in it. 1 mythic wild card, 2 rare wild cards, 3 uncommon wild cards.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you did get robbed by WotC themselves on Arena.
Yeah,
No, they gave it to them.
Yeah, they gave it to me after the next game I played.
But that must have been between screens.
Yeah, but Vaults automatically got it just from opening a pack of cards that we got in the Mastery Pass today.
Good morning, Richie Dubs. Whoa. Investable Collectibles in the house. He's been here this whole time chatting with us. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are awesome. So the topic of today, Commander, should we step away from it? You're like, nah, Commander, should we step away from it? Is Commander too off as a format? Is it too big of a format? What formats should we highlight? Is the card pool too big? Is the card pool too confusing? How do we help someone focus on deck building? How do we choose the perfect format for a person? Questions to think about.
Good questions. I don't think we should step away from the game, from Commander.
Right.
There's an if, and the if is if you enjoy the game. If you enjoy the game, why step away from it? And I enjoy playing Magic. I loved playing paper when I was able to play paper. I loved playing, paper standard. But unfortunately, the only way I can play paper standard now is digital. And so there's that's where Arena came in.
What about Commander decks?
Now, Commander decks, I just got into Commander not long ago. I'm still learning the ropes and still trying to figure out how to deck build any Commander, because the format is so different than standard. Because you got to worry about 3 players instead of 1 player.
Oh yeah, you
So
do got to worry about 2 players.
So that makes it totally different than playing one-on-one standard.
1-on-1. That's right.
Plus,
You know,
not only that, Commander is a singleton deck, and Arena is 4 cards or less.
yeah, you can have play sets of cards. That makes sense. Like, because like if you think about Commander, like going in as a new player, you know, you can look at the pre-built decks, and some of the pre-built decks, if you do your research, you can find out pretty competitive for a pre-built Commander deck, like a pre-con as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And but like when you start drawing off into the world of Commander and you want to start building your own decks and looking through card pools, and you don't know or understand the gatherer, you know, to help you look for certain kinds of cards. Like where do people find, how do people find, you know, good cards? I know on Facebook a lot of people will be like, I'm building this deck. And they'll show the commander or the couple commanders they're choosing from, like, how do I build this deck? And people go on and like offer advice left and right, or sometimes it's just troll people or be like, why do you want to build that deck? You know, synergies here. Or you get someone that says, I have this deck, here's what I run, here's the powerful combos you want to try to get. But not that, you know, or knows about groups in Facebook. Not everybody knows about the gatherer, like I said before. So, like the card pool, like for everything legal in Commander is so huge.
Yep. Now, I want to address a question here. I'll touch on the standard part of it, and Cesar will probably touch on the modern part of it. I never did understand standard or modern builds. Well, with standard, you have play sets. Commander, you don't. Commander, you only have 1 card. So with standard, you can have more of a chance of getting, like, let's say you're playing Shaholdred, for example. Say you have 4 Shaholdreds in your deck. You can have that in standard. Commander, you cannot. And if your opponent kills your Shaholdred, hey, you got 3 more backup to play another Shaholdred. And that's one thing that puts standard different than Commander. And you want to touch up on the modern Stasis Orb?
Yeah, I mean, I can, but mainly with, I mean, I'm not a big modern player.
I thought you was. My bad.
No, it's all good. But a lot of my friends play modern, and I'm in a thread with them, and we talk about things all the time. I think modern is a really rough format to get into. I wouldn't recommend it to new players. That would be something I would honestly suggest to stay away from. I mean, unless you have an insane amount of money, because modern is very, very expensive. Sorry, I'm a little sick right now, so I'm gonna sound a little off. But yeah, honestly, I would say if you're new to Magic, I mean, ultimately, you should always find out what's in your area, like
your meta.
Yeah, like your meta in your area, because like there's a card shop. I'm about to be moving into town here by next month, and there's a card shop down there that I love to play at. I used to play there when I lived in that area. And it's gonna be nice to be back at that store, but it's a lot of Commander and casual players, so there's no competition for like, they rarely do drafts. The card shops that I played at, like Game Grid, for example, had top end competitive players. So regardless of what format, and he played everything every week. Like, it was like, I think Mondays was like Modern, Tuesday was Draft, and then Wednesday and Thursday were like off day, were like the other games like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, etc. And then Friday was Friday Night Magic, obviously. And then Friday Night Magic, after Friday Night Magic, there was Commander, and then there was another draft. And so I always had, I did 2 drafts a week at a card shop with all these competitive players, right? So that was available. Now, not every card shop can cater to that. For example, with the one I'm gonna be back in town, they maybe do like one draft every couple weeks. So I was only going in there once every couple weeks to play a draft, and then and it's just a casual group. So it's since I play so competitively, they don't care whether or not they lose or win. They're just having fun. So I think that's really, really cool. I just get a lot of product. But
what is Modern?
So Modern is a format that's basically in between Legacy and Standard, I guess is a good way to put it. If you were to look at it in paper terms, because I know people play Pioneer or Timeless in paper. I'm pretty sure there's some store out there that probably does, but it's probably going to be very rare to find a store that does specifically those kind of tournaments. Or Explorer, that's the other one too. But anyway, so Modern basically I would say is the in between Legacy, which is basically even older sets. It's above Vintage though. So on paper, these would be the formats I would say. It starts at Vintage, then it goes to Legacy, then it goes to Modern, and then it goes to Standard. And Vintage will basically be like the most broken stuff you could possibly play. They do have rules though, so cards are restricted. You can't play 4 copies of like Black Lotus and all the Moxes and everything like that. You're restricted to 1 on all of those in Vintage, so you can play 1 copy of each. And then Legacy doesn't allow. It's basically similar to Vintage, just that you can't play the Power 9. You can't play the Moxes. You can't play, the Time Walk and all those. They can't play the Power 9. And you basically get fetch lands and the original dual lands. Those convert over. You can't play Soul Ring. And it plays a lot more of the fair Moxes, like Mox Diamond and like Mox Amber, or not Mox Amber. What's the one artifacts? The artifact one, Metalcraft one.
Oh,
Mox Opal.
Mox Opal, yeah,
Mox Opal. So it plays more of those like ridiculous ones. And then you have Modern, which would be basically I don't know how far back Modern goes actually. I don't remember what's
down to 8th, I believe.
Is it 8th edition? Yeah, so basically Legacy lets you play pretty much all the way back to Alpha, because you could play some cards from Alpha and Beta as well, but you can't play the Power 9. Basically, that's probably the big difference between the two. And then Modern, if it's 8th edition, it's 8th edition all the way up to today. So every card from 8th edition to today, you can play in a deck. And they have restricted and ban lists like every format does. And that's basically it. But if you want to play Modern, like casually, that's probably not a bad idea. You could build a really casual Modern deck. I think one of the easiest ones to build, which is what I actually built, because I played in a Modern tournament. Well, I played in it was like a tournament that was like the first like 3 rounds were Standard, the second 3 rounds were Modern, and then it was a draft at the last 3 or whatever. And well, depending on where your record went, you see if you qualified for the draft. Or it was 4-4. Either way. And I didn't have the money. I didn't have the several $1,000s to buy a Modern deck. So I built Mono Red. And Mono Red costed me, I want to say, just maybe a couple $100. Where if you wanted to play one of the other cool combo decks that does all these crazy things, you're going to be forking over close to $6,000-$7,000. Those decks get outrageously expensive. Wow. And not saying your Commander decks can't get that expensive, because they absolutely can. But Commander is more of a casual format. That's like the true. I honestly still look at Commander as the true casual format. I mean, if you look at it, even on Moto, on Magic Gathering Online, if you play, me and my best friend, we played the Commander Masters set, as we wanted to check it out. And basically we did a draft. So we said, with a group of, say 8 people, and then you break off into 2 pods of 4. And even though you win, even if you were to win the game, the players still have to vote for you. you get a player point regardless if you win. But other players can get player points too if people vote for another player for being like the best player or whatever. So they still look at it as a casual format, even though it's like you kind of want to be competitive, but it's really not. It's just fun, honestly. To me, like I said, and that's probably why Commander isn't for me. I like the competitive edge. I like the competitive side of things when it comes to Magic. It's just the way I was brought up into Magic, and I've played with like competitive Commander players, but nobody has fun in those games. Well, we are having fun. It's just whoever can do the most broken thing first wins the game, right? So like, and if Darc were to bring one of his casual decks to one of those tables, Darc would not have fun at all. Like there'd be nothing fun about it. Because all of our opponents are just doing ridiculous degenerate things on like turn 1, turn 2, and it's just like, okay, he's comboing off, we lose. Okay, good game. Let's go to the next one. Like there's probably like a lot of fun there for me. But yeah, so that's what I'd say. What Modern is. Modern's basically, you get to play pretty much anything from 8th edition and moving forward. And I know I've been ranting a lot about it. But that's kind of the rundown of all the formats that I'm aware of in paper. Much different from Arena, though.
Right. And if I could throw my 2 cents, what separates Standard, Modern, Legacy from Commander, like not understanding the builds, like having the ability to have 4 copies of a single card, or up to 4 copies of a single card in a deck, and up to 60 cards in your deck plus the lands included in that number. You're always building for consistency like crazy in those formats to get the repetitive kind of play so you can win nearly the same way every game you play. And in Commander, you're fighting for consistency because you're such a singleton format. But with all the newer prints, and since COVID, with all the new cards that's coming in the format, like you still build that consistency there. That with other cards that do similar or like things, like your draw, your ramp, and stuff is more fluent, but you're fighting for it because each card's different. So that's the mindset. Like 60 card constructed formats are about rinse and repeat strategies, where Commander is about trying to be consistent with your draws and everything to get to your win conditions. And then the closest Commander gets to constructed formats like the 60 card format is your tutors help you quickly get into your win conditions or the card you need to build that similar consistency. And the right builds, when you go into CEDH, the competitive Commander, that's just basically saying you've worked hard or gotten the cards to make your Commander deck act more like a Modern deck or a Legacy deck. And that's really where that falls into.
Yeah, because like what's his name's Eric's Eldrazi deck, like he consistently he would cast Kozilek on turn 3 or 4, guaranteed. Every time, sometimes turn 2.
Wow.
Because he has Grim Monolith, Mana Crypt, he has all these cards that like add ridiculous amount of mana, and he's able to ramp up very quickly and very fast. And he's just that deck is absolutely insane. And it's one of the decks that he doesn't like to pull out. Well, I don't know now, but at the time it was a deck that he did not like to use unless someone was really talking trash. Like, they'd be like, my Commander deck's the best, man. Nothing's can beat it. And he's like, oh yeah, all right. Let's play.
I have a deck similar to that.
Stack all your permanents.
Like 1v1, I have a deck like that. But like my win's like turn 3 to between turn 3 and turn 10 though. It's my Rafika the mini deck.
Oh, for sure. You could kill one person, absolutely. Rafika's many. Hey, he's a one-shot robot, basically.
Yeah.
Especially when he attacks alone, obviously. But no, the thing with Eric's deck is it's really degenerate and really like what was it? One of my, I think it was Justin. Justin has a zombie, not zombie, Azusa deck that like turn 3 blows up everyone's lands.
Right.
Like everybody, not just yours, everybody. Like it's ridiculous. I was like, this is really stupid. Yeah, like he had some card. I can't remember what it was. It was like he played like there's a 6-mana 3/3 that like destroys a land when it enters, or destroys a non-creature permanent when it enters the battlefield. Woodfall
Right.
Primus.
Yeah, Woodfall Primus.
And then he like finds a way to like sacrifice it, puts counters on it, so that way the persistent counter goes away, and he'll just infinitely blow up everyone's lands. What was there's is it Chancellor of the Dross that like blows up one of each land of each player?
I think so.
You get to search your library for a land for each player you destroyed a land of. Yeah, that deck was super degenerate. Like you were always behind and you could never get ahead. And then, again, that's a deck that he only played when someone was being, thinking their deck was tough shit. But like, you see those decks and you're just like, man, Commander can get stupid.
Why there's banned cards. I mean, that's why Grizzlebrand is banned.
What's that?
Grizzlebrand's banned the Commander.
Oh yeah, for sure. They needed to ban that card.
Yeah, right. So is Leon's Torn.
Emrakul, yeah, they needed to ban Emrakul. Emrakul was stupid too, because that was Eric's original Commander before he changed it to Kozilek.
Right.
He would like turn 3 Emrakul. Like how you beat that?
Right. Especially with Annihilator 6.
Like you're just dead. Like regardless, it doesn't matter. You're like, I'm gonna take an extra turn, and I'm gonna, because as soon as you turn her sideways and attack a player, that player practically just lost the game.
Yeah.
That person's not coming back. They're gonna have to concede. There's no way. And then the other 2 players have to try and fight this Emrakul, and it's just not gonna happen. Like,
right, Preacher. Hey, Preacher says the cheapest format anyone should play is pre-modern. It's 4th edition, Ice Age through 7th edition, and Onslaught. Sounds like a fun format.
I've never heard of it, but
neither.
It's a newer format that's been slowly growing up. People are playing it. It's basically Legacy Light, where Legacy is everything. This is everything. That's what makes Legacy is that gap before it hits modern, and that's why it's called pre-modern. So it's a vintage kind of format. That's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. MTG Gaming Bob.
I mean, you also have Pauper. I guess that's that's been a format for a while. And Pauper and paper, I think, is not that expensive
in general, but it does have some pricey cards. I mean, Oubliette was a $30 card back in the day.
Well, yeah, but they reprinted it.
Yeah,
which it needed. And then, I mean, Gorilla Shaman was actually worth quite a bit too, but I think they reprinted that too.
I think the Shaman got banned. If you're talking about the one that you discard from your hand.
No, that's Simian Spirit Guide.
All right. Well,
Gorilla Shaman is a 2-mana 2/1 or 2-mana 1/1. You pay 2x and a red and destroy target artifact with mana cost X or less.
Okay.
So for 1 red, you get to blow up your opponent's artifact lands.
All right. So I think Simian Spirit Guide got banned from Pauper, but
yeah.
But he gets banned from every good format. I've played Pauper cubes in Pauper before. Like it's like, if anything's like the fun format for Jane, that's the format. Like there's very powerful builds in that format. Like they even just banned a couple cards in this line ban announcement from it, like Monetary Swift Spear. But there's so many different formats to play, and Commander, like, I think the misconception is Commander being like the top tier format for everybody to get into is growing existential, because there's so much to Magic. And Arena doesn't start you on Commander; it starts you on Standard. Like I think there's too much focus on Commander at the moment for the general analysis of the game. But Commander is the only way to play in the meta of Commander is the only thing you really find on YouTube anymore, or something like that. And I'm pretty sure you can find more Arena content, like Hillbillies content, But like,
I know. I have a couple of big YouTube content creators who play Arena.
Right.
And I have a big YouTube content creator who plays a MTGO. So
right. MTGO. But like when it comes to paper, you just don't see a lot of paper formats. I mean, you have the professor who plays mix between Commander and different formats for a show.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the Command Zone, which is all exclusively Commander. You know, so like
you do know that like making content in paper form is way more complicated and way more harder than to just hop on Arena or Magic the Gathering Online and play.
I understand that.
But like, yeah, because like not only do you have to like even if you take the professor's, you know, standpoint, like he has random celebrities showing up and you know all playing Commander and you know that's something that took like months to do, you know.
Right. Well, like you know what could help the format in other formats, and maybe you'll agree with me because we don't get enough of it on YouTube, even though you can find it on Twitch. Magic the Gathering doing their pro games on stream again. Let's do it. I love watching the pro tour. When they do the pro tour, I love watching the people play. I watch people. I like when BBD won. Watching his progression throughout the format was fun. You know, like I don't know how much money it cost Wizards, but I know they lost a lot of streamers because of some of the BS back in the day. And by BS, there was drama. But the Pro Tour should be on YouTube as well as on Twitch, but I think more on YouTube because it's such a good way to get into the format. But the reason why, some of the reasons why they kind of stalled and stopped doing it so much is there was like a Pro Tour we were watching during either Revolt, and there was one pro player, I can't think of his name, who really stopped the game for a rules lawyer question, like a rules lawyer thing, and he only did it to buy time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I will say the worst pro event I ever got to see, and I don't remember what year it was or what pro tour it was. I know it was Modern, and the deck was called Eggs. And basically the deck does 2 damage to your opponent every 2 to 3 turns.
Wow.
And it's almost like an infinite combo. Mm-hmm. So there's a card it plays a 1 copy of Pyrrhic Spellbomb, which is pay a red, sacrifice it to draw a card, or pay a red, sacrifice it to deal 2 damage to target player.
Right.
And then it played a bunch of these cards that would reanimate it and bring it back to the battlefield, and then you would shoot your opponent for another 2. And then he would draw a bunch of cards to get another one of those cards to return it again and shoot your opponent for 2. It took the player like 30 to 40 minutes to kill his opponent in one game, and they're playing best of 5.
Oh, wow. Ouch.
And it's a pro event, so they can't, there's no time regulation.
Oh,
unless it's obvious that they're stalling. But if he's playing cards and activating things and casting spells, I mean, what's the judge to say? He's playing his deck.
Right.
Literally, that finals took so long. It was like a 5-hour finals. People were tuning out like after game 1.
Holy cow, that's ridiculous.
Because the deck was so boring to watch, and you're just sitting here. Even his opponent, he put his hand down on the table, set his deck off to the side, and he just folded his arms and just sat there. Just sat there and waited. He's like, yep.
That's just ridiculous.
And you're just sitting here. So they banned Eggs. They banned the deck. Luckily, after they're like, yeah, we're not allowing that to happen again. That's really, really awful.
That's just crazy too. You know what else is crazy? You can find awesome dice bags at cardsartopia.com. Awesome, sweet dice bags like this dice bag right here. This super fast Taurus dice bag. Yeah, it holds about 2 pounds of dice, like the ones that Hillbilly is showcasing on his video. You can get lapel pins like these cool lapel pins. Love the salty one, indeed. And here's a closer up version of the salty. Here's the sarcasm one, the skull one. You can find all these cool items over at carnzatopia.com. Da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum.
Shit. Go get your merch.
Go get your merch. Oh, man. And, you know, this is like the first time in a while where we actually had a topic that started and just went and drove itself. That's crazy.
That's good. Good
But
topic.
it's
a good topic.
Yeah.
I think you should.
It is.
I think if you're in an area and there's a card shop in your area, and you like to play the games that they like to play, go ask your card shop, your LGS, and be like, "Hey, what do you play?" And that way you can be part of it too. You know,
Right.
I where I just used to live, there was a card shop down the street from my house, very casual group, and I was a little too competitive for them, so none of the people there actually really liked me or talked to me in any way. I didn't really make any friends there. There's nobody that I like got to like, oh man, like, hey, what do you think? Like, nobody, it wasn't like Game Grid, right? Where Game Grid, I had everybody knew me, everybody asked me for help.
Well, Game Grid is friendly too. Jamie ran.
That's true too. That is true.
But like, look, last time I was at Game Grid was when I was on vacation, and I was buying a couple cards just from Game Grid for fun. And this like 14, 15-year-old kid came up to me and asked me if I had a commander deck to play a game with him and his friends. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm on vacation, but like I didn't have a deck. But it was cool. That's the thesis.
Oh, for sure. But like Jamie Shop is usually like a very well diverse group.
Yep.
But like if you want that competitive scene, it's there. You know, if you want to go and draft with a bunch of very strong people and get better at drafting and know what's good, it's a great store to go to get that that fix, more or less. But yeah, I would suggest call your local game store, find out what it is they play, and then and if it's something that you're not like familiar with, I mean, try it out. You might like it. You never know.
Right. Because like my local game store that I'd most likely be able to go to only do drafts, except for Friday nights. There's F&Ms, and there's Commander nights, but I don't get to go there on those nights. But like I can't afford to draft all the time.
Oh yeah, well, that's fair. And I imagine like it's not like Jamie's store where you can trade in your packs for drafts.
Right. Well, the store I have doesn't even sell singles; they sell product only.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, it's a small shop. It's called Tempest Games. One day I'll probably be sponsored by them. Because Tempest Games is a small store. They do a lot of Warhammer throughout the week, but they sell like everything under the sun in this little store that they can. And their Magic scene, they have a Yu-Gi-Oh scene, but like Magic's usually just F&M, and F&M even changes week to week from standard to modern to legacy to drafts. Then commanders are usually a different night or a different time of day on Fridays. So it's weird how it works. It's mainly a game store, like an actual playing store more than it's a let's sell single store.
Yeah,
but no,
you don't have to be
you don't have to.
You don't have to be a single store to be a play store. You can do both.
Right. Well, I'm just saying they don't sell singles. Well, they really don't have the space to sell the singles either.
Gotcha.
And the only reason why one of the reasons why they don't like selling singles is the prices of cards just changed so much, especially of late.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
If you're willing to.
Well, that makes sense. I don't blame them.
Yeah, it can be a hassle for sure.
Yeah. But now, thinking of prices changing so much. right, we're going to the movers and shakers. The top
Yep.
5 movers going up this week. This one's still climbing up. Is Shattered Sanctum to almost $19 plus 8%. This black white land is going places. I don't know why it's going so high, but the meta must be showing it's good. We got Rafine Scheming Seer, who's a $5 card, gone up 20%. It's supposed to be a Commander goodie in standard, or people are probably playing this in standard for something. Going back up, so I think this is pretty much stable to 32.39 is Cavern of Souls up 2%. Then going up to $10 about 7%, Zopandrel Hunger Dog.
Love that card.
It's doing pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good card. Well, let me read it. 5, 6, 7 mana for a 4/6 legendary creature Phyrexian Horror. Reach at the beginning of each combat. Double the power and toughness of each creature you control until turn. Oh, I need a copy of this for my Eldrazi deck. Sacrifice 2 other creatures for 2 Phyrexian green. Put an indestructible counter on Zondrel Hunger Dominus. Yeah, nice. Then the Mondrak at 32.81 gone up 1%. So this is pretty much stable. Mondrak Glory Dominus is just a token tripler. Doing pretty good. Love it. Oh, this is a token doubler. I love it though. Still a good card. All right, going down in standard here. At 21%, down 3%, so it's probably stable right here. Ogier Talk Deepest Foundation, yeah. Then going down 1%, so this card ain't moving a lot. $44, Gag Thistle's Conjuring, hell yeah. Then card that's going down that needs to go up instead down is Gishath Sun's Avatar. I love this card. 25, down 6%, pretty solid. Down to $22 by 2%. This card's pretty much stable. Is a Atali Primal Conqueror. Love it. It's pretty good. And just randomly, the 5th card in this list at $3 about is down 9%. Is Yavimaya Coast.
Nice.
Shows you how powerful Simic is in standard at the moment. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then in the modern section, boom. We got Hulamog Infant Gyre at plus 4%. Hell yeah. He is a $37 card, doing pretty good. Then Cataract Parasite up plus 8%. That means this card is seen play in more formats now. That's pretty cool. 9. Cataract Parasite is doing damage. I wish that card was standard, to be honest. The first sliver got up 3%. Pretty much a stable card, not moving too much. At 34.08. The first sliver right there.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah. And Savage Beating at $10 with plus 8%. You got Savage Beating. That card is doing pretty good. I don't even know what this card does. Let me read it. It's from Mirrodin. 5 mana instant. Play Savage Beating only during combats. All right. Choose 1. Creatures you control gain double strike until in turn, or untap all creatures you control after this phase. Additional combat phase in 22. Ooh, that card is pretty solid. That's a good. So this card's probably going to under, not because of modern. Then gone up 7% to $10 is Shieldred Whispering One. Just stabilizing. That's all that's happening here. That's pretty good.
My favorite Shieldred.
I love Shieldred too. Going down, we got Arcbound Ravager down 7% to 25.42. It's seen its light of day. It's kind of fluctuating a little. You can tell it's stabilizing where it's going to be. It's going to be like a $20-$25 card from now on for a while until we see reprints. Commandeer, $25, down 6%. Commandeer is doing pretty good. If you don't know what Commandeer does, this is obviously a commander card here. 5, 6, 7. Oh no, this probably
it's a modern card.
Yeah, it's reading the first line attack.
It steals a spell basically.
You may remove 2 blue cards in your hand from the game rather than pay the Commandeer's cost. Yep, can control target non-creature spell. You may choose new targets for that. Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, the card's ridiculous. The card is absolutely insane.
I mean, it fits in the same deck as the counter spell. I can't think of the name.
Force of
Will.
Force of Will. Not Force. Well, yeah, Force of Will, but no. Force of Negation.
Yeah, Force of Negation. Yeah,
that's the modern one. Yeah, Force of Will is a legacy and vintage one.
Right, but in Commander you can play both, so people are it's probably going up because it's seen the surge in multiple formats.
Oh, for sure.
$26. Mistbind Clicks, -3%. I remember when this used to be Stasis Orb's favorite card because he used to run fairies.
I never played fairies.
What?
That is incorrect, sir. I played elves. I
Oh,
never
who played
played fairies.
Oh, I thought you. Oh, Martin. Okay, his. Well, yeah, that guy. That dude we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Mind Break Trap up to $71.99. It's just staying there. It's not moving up much. It's 1%. It means it's stable. It's gonna this 50-cent bulk rare is now a $70 card.
Yep.
Wow.
Because
Right.
fetch lands are going to live forever.
Right. And the last card we're going to talk about on this list is Uber Kamiagma, down 2% to $35. This card is just stable. It's not doing a lot of moves. Then, really quick, boom, Kiss Stasis Orbs here. We're going to look at the few cards here. We got Mishra's Factory going up 19% to $129. Lion Eye Diamond, $500 about 2%. City of Brass, yeah.
That makes me sick. How much is
Wow.
Lion's Eye Diamond?
$462.30.
I bought mine back in the day for $160 a piece.
Ooh.
Tyga, $336.50 plus 2%. Yep, and Wrath of God. Boom. 152. You know, I have this version, and before it went up, and I black marked the white border. So it's now worth 0. All right, going down, Diamond Valley, 757, down 5%. Cyclobean Tomb, $109.99, down 17%. Nether Void, $603 at plus 3%. City in a Bottle, $414.98, negative 3%. And Guy's Cradle, down to $794.99, down negative 7%.
Yeah, I can afford all those cards.
Yeah, boom.
Glad you can. I sure can.
No, I'm joking. No way in hell. I will say, if I were to get back into Legacy, I would build Legacy Dredge, because it's that one deck that, like, if they still do, I don't even know if they do Legacy tournaments anymore, but if they do, and I'm talking like pro Legacy tournaments, that everyone kind of forgets about Dredge because it's kind of a one trick pony. It kind of loses to like one card. But no, not necessarily. It can get around it. But sometimes people don't have the sideboard for it. And so you'll show up to the Pro Tour and nobody expected Dredge to be there, and then you'll just win the tournament out of nowhere because nobody was prepared for it.
Right.
But then, like, you know, if that happens, then the next like few Legacy Pro Tours that came around, obviously people would be prepared for it. They're like, well, we'll just be just in case Dredge shows up. So that's always cracked me up about Dredge. But if I were to play Legacy, it'll be Dredge. And the most expensive card in that deck is Lion's Eye Diamond. Everything else is actually relatively inexpensive, I would imagine. I think the only like harder cards to get would probably be like Cephalid Coliseum, because it only plays like I think 8 lands, 9 lands, something like that. You play like 4 copies of Mana Confluence and then 4 copies of City of Brass, and then it plays like 12 lands, I think. But either way, and then it plays Cephalid Coliseum. That's it. That's your
Cephalid Coliseum. Hello.
Then you play there's that one. It costs a blue and X, and you draw 4 cards and discard all but X cards. And so basically, pay 1, you dredge 4 times. And then you discard all your dredge cards again, so then you could just continue the cycle.
Right. I remember you play testing that deck.
Yeah, that deck was awesome. I bought that deck off of Aaron. Aaron Lee built it. I wanted it. He sold it to me for $325 or something like that.
Woo.
And then
now imagine how expensive that deck is now.
Oh, I know, right? Well, just the Lion's Eye Diamond was like, dang, man. And Aaron gave me a deal on it too at the time, because even then, like, they were like, you know, those Lion's Eye Diamonds were not that cheap. They were really expensive, but now they're even more expensive. And then if you want to switch to the Legacy version, all you need to get is Bazaar Baghdad's.
Right.
4 copies of Bazaar Baghdad's. Then you have the Legacy version of the deck.
Because the deck build is solid. Like I've seen the deck build.
Yeah, you get rid of Cephalid Coliseums and you put in Bazaar Baghdad's. But you know the price of Bazaar Baghdad's, right?
Well, just borrow them from your friend, you know.
Oh yeah. Who has Bazaar Baghdad that I can borrow? I need to borrow 4 of them.
Like I used to watch this group of people who do like a weekly news show,
Yeah.
And there was this lady who would be like, I love Dredge. She talks about Dredge, and then she's like getting ready for a tournament. She's like, all right, now I'm looking for who might have bizarre Baghdad's I could borrow for this tournament. I'm like, what? That's like at the time it was like $100-something card. Who's just gonna lend that out? Just someone they possibly don't know. Just because you think you're a celebrity.
So just have that. I'm on TCG Player right now. The average cost of a lightly played Bazaar of Baghdad is $2,350.
Hmm.
I just need to borrow 4 of those.
Right?
Wow.
It's about $1,000, you know. You just need to place that.
Ooh.
That's over what, 2, 4, 6, 8, $9,000. Holy crap, that's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Is Bazaar of Baghdad legal in Commander?
I don't think it's banned, to be honest.
I mean, it's not like it's a combo card for sure. Are you familiar with Bazaar of Baghdad there, Hillbilly?
No.
It's a land that you tap to draw 2 cards and discard 3 cards. So it combos with Dredge, obviously, because you can basically dredge more cards into your grave, and you discard, which is even better because Dredge always wants to discard the Dredge cards in your hand. So it's a solid card for, but it's only legal in Legacy or Vintage. It's not legal in. Let me sell some gemstone and then I'll buy one.
He's talking about real stones, not gemstone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's what it's gonna take. They're ridiculous. They're stupid expensive.
Right.
But yeah, no, very, very powerful card. And it's crazy to think that like my buddy Brian, who had he played like from like the beginning. Like he kept all of his cards and built all these competitive decks. He was a competitive player, and he would show up to the shop and he would want to play test Legacy all the time because he had all the Legacy decks. But not only had Dredge, but he had literally every competitive Legacy deck built. Had like crap loads of like every deck had like the set of fetch lands it needed, all the OG dual lands, the whole 9 yards. And as time progressed and we started to see the price of these cards start like fluctuating, I want to say I told him, I was like, dude, you might want to stop bringing your Legacy decks with you to the card shop. Mm-hmm. Like your decks are now worth like $10,000 to $12,000 a piece, and you have 8 of them.
Right.
You probably have close to $100,000 in Magic cards. You probably should not bring them to the shop. And that was when the cards were just starting to go up. When like the OG dual lands were hitting like the $200 to $300 price range. Now they're at the $400 to $600 price range. Like you're just like, dude, I think he did take that advice because I hadn't seen him for a while. And then I ended up leaving Utah around that time. So I think he took my advice and realized that his decks were worth a stupid amount of money. And to be fair, I was one of 3 people that he trusted to play with his decks. So I was glad.
You know, actually, I don't remember his face, but I remember him bringing his decks. So he was there for a bit before I left too.
Yeah. He was there for a while.
I actually remember that conversation. So this was a little way before you left Utah, because I remember that conversation. You're like, dude, you were sitting down because I was sitting next to you. On
no. So like he disappeared, like because like we still played. Like I would go over to his house and we would play test, and then he stopped going to the card shop for a while.
Right, because that happened as soon as after I left.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I would just go over to his house and play at his place. But yeah, no, I was just sitting here like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like I was investable collectibles, that is correct. As a matter of fact, that actually happened to me at my first states tournament. I bought I opened up really, really well at the pre-release, and Not the pre-release, at the event, because they did limited events, and I opened up really, really well. Opened up a lot of money cards during that time, and I traded them all in, and I got like I think 4 booster boxes, and I had them in a bag, and I set the bag down on a bench, or on like one of the benches that was at the event, and I told my buddy, I was like, "Hey, I need to run to the bathroom. Can you watch this?" And he didn't hear me, and I ran to the bathroom, and I came back, and they were gone.
Ouch.
Yep. I
I understand. I remember spending like $500 out of tax money from work, like taxes, on a John Gruel dragon deck from original Shards block, and it got stolen before I could even play it. And I found out who stole it later. He used to be a roommate of mine.
I will say one of the most messed up things that ever happened. It really, really sucked because the judges couldn't do anything about it. And it really sucked. I felt bad for it because I knew the guy because I used to go to GPs a lot, and it was GP Denver, and I went to, and one of the guys that I saw there, like saw at all the GPs because he was also traveling around playing in GPs, and I'd see him from time to time. He was a really cool dude. He had like a foil Feast or Famine, I want to say, and his opponent couldn't beat that card, and so he lost game 1, and then they went to game 2, and he won. His opponent won game 2. They go into game 3, and he gets Sword of Feast and Famine on the battlefield, and he's all like, "Hey, can I read the card, please?" And so the guy's like, "Yeah, of course, dude, you can read it." So he grabs the card, takes it out of its sleeve, and he rips it in half.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, takes his foil Sword of Feast and Famine from Mirrodin and rips it right in half and throws it at him and concedes. Now, he immediately got disqualified. They DQ'd him like immediately. They banned him. He's not allowed to play Magic anymore. He can't play in any competitive events. But the judges literally could not do anything about the card being damaged. They're like, "Sorry."
Jeez,
that's something to fight. that's
for sure. That's your property, right? But like it was just one of those things. You're just like, damn.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, that would bring on some fisticuffs, if you know what I mean.
Oh, for sure. I think they did. I think he did get a little meet up in the parking lot, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure there was a little something there. But,
right?
I was like, dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
If you're gonna be that salty about the game, you do not need to be playing the game.
Right.
Physically damage someone else's property.
I mean, it's just a game.
For real. Like, I understand you're at a pro event and you're playing with very high-end players. That doesn't mean that, like, you need to be salty about it. I lose all the time, and I win a lot of the time. But I never get salty. I'm really chill,
Right.
Just like when I play against my viewers on my channel. Yeah, my opponent, my viewers, they beat me. I get salty about it, but I don't let it show because I realize it's just a game.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And as well as and the judges had something else. Well, the judges had to give him a proxy card of Sword of Feast and Famine for his deck because it was a registered deck. So
right, and it was legal when he came in.
Yep. So they gave him a proxy. They took one of those blank Magic cards and wrote what the card does on it.
It's a sword. It goes swing, swing.
But yeah, it was not a good time. A lot of people were very, very upset at that player and that guy.
I'm surprised I've never heard of that story before. Like, if it was at a pro tour, you think that would have made the.
It wasn't a pro tour. It was a GP. And so GPs weren't like that. Like at that time, pros were there, but only like the main event area had the pro players playing because they always did. Yeah. Like even when I played Luis Scott Vargas, someone did that to me. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. But yeah, no. That I know like the pro players and they're playing against each other. They save those areas for those players because they're like, you want to see top notch gameplay, like competitive gameplay. Because even when I played LSB, I didn't get to go to the feature thing. He just played me at the normal seated number that I had to go to.
Right. Well, thinking of seated numbers and times, we get to chill.
Well, this afternoon, if I can, I'm going to do another stream. More than likely, I will be able to. And if I don't, I always, leave a short on YouTube, letting you know. As far as I know, I ain't got nothing planned except to do another stream at 2:00.
2:00.
And
Whoa.
playing against my viewers, if y'all want to play a game of standard or historic,
Standard.
then come on by and let me know.
Hey. The nest floating around. Ooh.
Hello.
Like
and subscribe.
There you go.
TG Hillbilly. Super fast tortoise.
All right. You guys are awesome. And I want to thank you guys for hanging around. Yes, like the video. We have 6 likes on this video. We had good retention. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. For those who subscribe, thank you for being amazing and interacting. Hope you enjoyed today's show. And until next time, my friends, play wise, have fun, and
Shockwave! What is your command, Megatron?
Subscribe for Magic the Gathering and other content for evil fun.
Fear not, Megatron. Cybertron shall remain as you leave it.